Many of you guys may be surprised to hear this based on, well, I'm not exactly the biggest, bulkiest motherfucker by any means. However, I'm a pretty big fan of workout content. I really like weightlifting, fitness content on YouTube. And because of that, I watch a lot of these creators. Everything from More Plates, More Dates, Brownie, who's the big fucking dude who has like the weird accent, and he's like, he makes the shorts and he's like, don't do this. And he has like the really deep voice. There's also Greg Doucette, all these weightlifting, like fitness YouTubers. There's way more that I can't even think of right now. A lot of them end up being a little iffy. At first, when I started to get into working out, I watched quite a bit of Athlean X, but the more of him that I watched, the more I started to realize a lot of what he's saying is bullshit. And I've kind of like filtered down the pool of fitness YouTubers I watch to the least bullshit spewing bundle, like the least bullshit spewing few I can find, right? Because let's be real, the fitness community is filled with absolute pieces of shit. As a matter of fact, a good example of some drama that happened in the fitness community, I think really demonstrates this is, do you guys know who Jocko Willink is? Most of you guys should know. He's appeared on PragerU once or twice. He's I think now ex-Navy SEAL. And he's now this like conservative, huge motivational speaker for the right now. And a lot of his stuff is all about, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, right? He does MMA, he does jiu-jitsu and like MMA and whatnot. And apparently this like professional MMA guy wanted to do like a practice, like nothing too serious rolling session with Jocko. Jocko fucking broke his trachea. Collapsed his trachea. Like, it was like, okay, we're just having we're doing a chill. As it turns out, Jocko's response was, I don't do chill rolling sessions. If you roll with me, you better be willing to fight for your life. So Jocko's such an insecure piece of shit that if you roll with him, he doesn't, like, take it easy on you or like recognize this is just like, we're just practicing, we're just doing a quick roll, like don't collapse my trachea here and actually try to kill me. No, he goes for blood if you try to roll with him like in the gym for practice, and will hurt you, and when he does hurt you will say, should have known that when you rolled with me. So that's the kind of people that we're talking about a lot of the time when we talk about the fitness community. A lot of the guys who put a lot of effort and work and like effort into making themselves big, muscular dudes have a lot of problems with self-esteem. As a matter of fact, recently I had a conversation through Omegle with a Nazi who is this like jacked dude, at least according to him. And he was literally considering suicide because he couldn't get on PEDs and growth hormone. Like he had body dysmorphia, not like gender dysphoria, body dysmorphia, because he couldn't get bigger, and and the only thing he thought could get him bigger would be to get on testosterone, on PEDs, and on growth hormone or gear, whatever you want to call it. Like, the guy actually wanted to kill himself because he couldn't get access to these things. A lot of the guys who put this much work, like much effort into working out, somewhere in their head they don't have, like a lot of the time in their head they aren't fully healthy, right? Even if they're healthy on the outside. And that's not everybody, obviously, but it's somewhat common and something you should probably know going into any fitness community. Now, with that said, the fitness community is also filled with liars, swindlers, and grifters. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, More Plates, More Dates, the guy in question who we're going to be watching, is a fitness YouTuber who publicly, and with no like secret hiding or like hand-wringing or anything like that, admits that he uses steroids. In fact, he runs a clinic for people to get access to steroids. This is not a secret, not something he hides, not something he's ashamed of. He's very open about this, that he is not natty. And he makes videos where he calls out people who claim to be natty who are not natty, right? That's a lot of what his content is. And he's generally, in my opinion, a pretty nice guy. Politically, I can't really get a read on him, but he seems like he's normal. He seems politically like he's normal, is the best read I can get on him. Anyway, More plates, more dates. Pretty normal, chill guy. Not much wrong with him. However, there's another guy in the fitness industry called the Liver King. I think you can probably guess that this guy gets his reputation from eating whole livers and claiming it's a superfood that, that helps his lifestyle to result in this, like, primal physique, right? You know what I mean. You guys can probably guess, right? Anyway, the Liver King was recently exposed. I don't even know how. I've kept myself away from the details in this. The Liver King was apparently recently exposed as a liar. Apparently, he takes steroids, despite repeatedly saying he does not, and he is 100% natural. With that said, More Plates, More Dates, the guy who is an expert on steroids, made an hour-long expose on the Liver King that we're going to be watching. Highly recommend you check out this video, send some support to More Plates, More Dates. Frankly, if you're looking for any content about fitness whatsoever, you should really watch More Plates, More Dates. The guy he doesn't feel like a swindler or a liar, you know? Or like a weirdo. Like, for the most part, his content just feels pretty decent, as far as, like, fitness YouTuber content goes. So yeah, go check it out. Go leave some support. Don't just watch my video and watch my reaction to it and not send any support. Go drop a like. Go drop a comment. Go subscribe if this interests you. So yeah, let's hop right in to More Plates, More Dates expose on the Liver King.
Leaked emails, blood test results, and a full steroid cycle breakdown. That's what we're going to be getting into in this video, and it is shocking to say the least. Before we do, though, it only feels fitting
that is some
to
pretty
go
hard
back to the
evidence,
beginning, because it very much feels like a story that has come full circle for us on this channel, and do it the justice it deserves by fleshing it out.
Oh, we're getting lore.
Inception. When I first noticed the Liver King,
I have not seen this video at all yet, by the way.
He had 1% of the following he does now across all platforms, if that. And within a year, he has managed to build a fan base of millions of...
Can you believe this guy got away with telling all these people that he was natty for so long?
Followers, and has been on several of the biggest podcasts in the world, echoing his message to the masses. His message centers around 9 core ancestral tenets, which have remained the cornerstone of his content since day one: sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, and bond. And apparently there's a 10th one he sometimes likes to throw in there, which is fun. Liver King believes...
Is this like pseudo scientific, like Victorian era science? Like medicine? Like back in, like, the Victorian era, they said, oh, you have too much black bile. You need to have, oh, your blood humors are too full. You need to have a leaching. Like, this is literally like that. Like your chakras.
Believes the modern world has made men soft, and it's his duty to empower the masses to become jacked, high testosterone, metabolically and cognitively peak primals with a higher quality of life, and to inspire change and achieve this and be maximum impact. He does it through as viral of content as possible. He walks the walk and shows off the polar extreme of ancestral living, which includes being shirtless essentially in perpetuity, doing hard shit constantly via heavyweight training,
and shooting guns, apparently.
Difficult fitness challenges, as well as showing off the ancestrally consistent
guns.
meat and organs he eats huge quantities of, and this includes heart, raw testicles, liver, etc.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. When he sat down to that giant fucking bowl of meat getting put out in front of him, I that does look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's not a day in my life where you could put a giant plate of meat in front of me like that, and I wouldn't be like,
and flying around the world to share his beliefs about health and vitality whenever he gets the chance. I saw Liver King's content for the first time in September last year, shortly after he started his social media push. I think his first post was August 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I started getting tagged more and more on his content when people started noticing he was implying heavily that his physique was achieved solely by following the 9 ancestral tenets and was not enhanced with steroids or any exogenous hormones or PEDs.
Have you seen that bloke that eats just the raw?
No, that's a gimmick, that guy.
It just looks ridiculous. He's got a plate of hearts and it just looks weird.
He's got an ass filled with steroids is what he's got.
Yeah, he should have a big plate of steroids next to it.
Rogan would know.
Body.
Of course it's not.
That guy is shooting.
Listen, say what you want about Joe Rogan. If he says someone's on gear, you believe that motherfucker. If Rogan says someone's on gear, you believe that motherfucker and you don't think twice.
All kinds of shit into his system to achieve that kind of physique.
Completely.
Yeah, this is guy, Derek, who's been on my podcast before. He's got this YouTube page, moreplatesmoredates.com. His website. You know that guy?
Yeah.
And More Plates, More Dates, the YouTube page did a whole takedown of, not a takedown, but an examination of this guy's claims that he's natural and that what he's, it's like living off the 9 pillars of health and sustainability or whatever the fuck it is, like liver and testicles and drinking blood. And like, it's a gimmick.
Back then, he was already getting criticism for claiming natural, and since then, he's only managed to get more jacked despite being in his mid-40s and traveling constantly and having more on his plate than ever from a...
So for those of you guys that don't know, men as they get older, pretty much always, I don't know if there's any exceptions to this besides like really insane hormonal like disorders, right? Men like start to exponentially lose testosterone production as they get older, just continuously. And the reason why this is relevant is that testosterone quantity in your body contributes to muscle growth, muscle density, and bone density. Pretty much all the things that make you big and strong, testosterone plays a large part in doing that, right? So if you're an older man and you don't have as much testosterone, it's not so much that the lack of testosterone keeps you from working out or anything like that. It's that your body can't do as much with what you've given it as it could with when you were younger and you were producing more testosterone. Your body was more chemically prone to start building muscle mass. And that's why it's so insane for this guy in his like 40s to be like, oh no, I'm totally natural, bro, to be this fucking big and to keep getting this big as he gets older. No, he should be losing testosterone. It should be getting it. Like, it is borderline outside of absurd genetics, borderline impossible to achieve this physique as a 19-year-old guy, like a 19 to 20-year-old guy, 21-year-old guy in his fucking prime, the prime of all primes. It is borderline impossible for a guy to reach this level of physique, natty. Like, you've got to be naturally high T as fuck. You've got to be cramming yourself to the brim, literally to the point where you don't stop. You ever eat so much that you literally can't stop feeling like you're about to vomit and you're actively fighting to keep the food down? When you're a guy who's that big and that's your workout regime, it's not the working out that gets you there necessarily. Like, obviously it does, but 50% of that work takes place in the kitchen, and it's eating absurd amounts of healthy calories. Like, absurd amounts. And that requires you to literally never not be full. It's not that like, oh, you're never hungry. No. You're never not full to the point of having to fight to keep your food down. That is the only way, especially as you get heavier. It gets harder and harder to keep your calories up, because the heavier you get, the higher your maintenance calories get. And the higher your maintenance calories are, the more you have to eat just to not lose muscle. And muscle's the first to go. When you start losing weight from not eating enough, muscle's the first to go. So, yeah, well, not necessarily. It depends on how you're losing it. But still, like, it really is wild that this guy was able to get away with saying he's natty.
An entrepreneurship perspective. In an effort to maintain full transparency, just like he does with his supposed natural status, Liver King has been very candid about the success of his portfolio of supplement companies.
My little birdie told me that you're making over $100 million a year from your businesses.
Right.
True or false?
Oh my God.
That's a pretty staggering.
Oh my
staggering
God.
accomplishment.
Now, understandably, this success draws a greater level of scrutiny to his claims of being natural and his brand as a whole.
$100 million
as there
a
is
year.
Clear monetary incentive to promote what he does, and if he's on drugs after all, there is a clear monetary incentive to withhold that information from the public and lie about it to push his agenda. And this scrutiny has compounded exponentially over the past year, as Liver King has not just doubled down on his statements of claiming natural, but he has literally 100-folded down on it on several of the biggest podcasts in the world.
Regardless of whether you use stuff or not, like,
I don't. Can they get a build like yours without taking them?
So I want to set the record straight. I want to expand and tell you why it's possible.
A year ago, maybe 2 years ago, it was all about like PEDs and steroids, right? And then, same question, same answer. I didn't touch the stuff, don't touch the stuff, right?
Joe Rogan criticized you. Joe Rogan's a big person in terms of his platform. Big. How did that feel when he said he alluded that you're on steroids or something like that?
Yeah, number one, I don't do it. And number two, what I want you to say is, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that guy, in fact, he did say he's in the 0.00001% of genetics if he does it naturally.
What is the Liver King's response to this claim that the Liver King is hormonally improved?
The Liver King, there's more of a chance of Dream having not cheated in all of those Minecraft speedruns than there is that this guy is not using, like, there's more of a chance Dream was not cheating than there is that this guy isn't using PEDs. There's not a single fucking doubt in my mind. This guy is using performance enhancers. Look at the fucking dude. He's in his mid-40s.
Science.
The question has always been, do you take steroids? Do you take PEDs? The answer to that is no. I've always told the truth. I still tell the truth. This is funny. People write in DMs,
right?
And they're like, they tell me what I'm taking.
Man.
And then here's something else.
I just know the kill shot's coming, which just makes all of this, like, really loud, like, oh no, I'm 100% telling the truth. I'm not lying. Like, this guy's really like, oh, when the kill shot comes in, it's going to be rough for this guy. Oof.
I was just joking around. I'd like to get your opinion on this. You know, I thought.
No one's ever going to trust
again,
him
for the
again.
record, I've never taken steroids.
Really?
I'm thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
Ancestral Tenant 10 is have a little fucking fun.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? If you've built this biological resilience, I always say, have a little poison. I'll drink, I'll do mushrooms, I'll do shit. Like every Saturday, I imbibe. Like, you know what? I'm healthy enough. If I want to do a cycle, I'm going to do a cycle. And how much you want to bet I turn into the Incredible fucking Hulk?
You're going to be terrified.
I want to be like this. Okay, you think this guy's on steroids, right? This is the guy who's on steroids. Like if somebody has, let's say, 700, testosterone, free testosterone, and if they're taking steroids and they want to get up to 1,400, 1,500, or whatever it is, guess what? You can do the same thing with the 9 ancestral tenets. And if you do the 9 ancestral tenets and you're living this way over this amount of decades, you're going to be able to produce your highest and most dominant form.
So I think when people see someone with your...
So this literally just gives you a small hit, like a small peek into how much pseudoscience is just rampant in the fitness community. Just dozens of these podcasts of just giant dude bros all on gear who are all shilling like to their audience some lifestyle that only they have figured out, apparently. That if they follow it and keep watching their podcast and learning these lifestyle tips, they'll look like them. When the only way to look like them is to either have absurd genetics to the point where, like, oh, you're still producing above average testosterone in your 30s and 40s, or to be on steroids.
With your physique, they look at it and they think there's something going on here. There's gear, there's steroids, there's performance enhancing drugs. Talk to us about, whether you use performance enhancing drugs or steroids or anything to get this physique.
Listen, I love this question. I've been getting this question since high school, and it's done more to lift the Liver King brand and message than any other question. So I hope you asking it now continues to do the same. The short answer is no. I don't touch this stuff. But here's the deal.
So when anyone asks a hard-hitting question of somebody, and their response is, "I'm glad you asked that question," the response is always bullshit. Always a PR bullshit response. Always. It is the most softening up what you're about to say PR response ever. It's always. I don't know why, but that's always what it ends up being every single time.
Isn't it just fucked up that a muscular, lean man has to justify his level of fitness, but a fat, lazy, metabolically deranged, or a skinny, fragile, osteopathically deranged, they don't have to just...
I like how he's using fat phobia. He's unironically trying to use fat phobia to hide his steroid usage. By the way, this is why fat phobia is cringe, by the way. Stuff like this. This guy who's literally on performance-enhancing drugs to make him look the way that he is, like shit-talking people for being too overweight in his mind. That's what we're seeing right now.
Justify their lack of fitness.
Oh, Liver King, you're on steroids. You're on PEDs, and so it's like, okay, we had a lot of fun with that, and then we had a doctor come on. We made a video. If you ever Google Liver King's blood work, we had a legitimate doctor come on. We did like a blood work reveal. That was fun. But then the accusations never stopped. So I'm like, okay,
I assumed you were on steroids. I was talking to one of your guys, and I was like, yeah, he's on steroids, right? Like people don't look like that. He's like, no, he's not. And I think I heard Rogan say you were on steroids. Everybody.
Now, obviously, it would not be very ancestrally consistent to be using synthetic, lab-synthesized drugs to achieve the physique you then use to promote the 9 ancestral tenets. It's like the complete...
Wait, hold on, chat. These things spawn with the Mo Creeps and Weirdos mod, and I don't know if there's a way to like make them not despawn, or to make them not despawn, but these things, as long as you have one, are pretty handy, because watch this. It's just... There's no limit. If you find one, you just right-click it, and there's no limit. Name tag? Those don't exist in this version. This is Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, my friend. We're in an old oh, there's oil down there. Pog. Hey, I can see my house from here. What a nice little setup I have. This is a good map. This is a good seed. Do you guys want to know what this seed is? If any of you download the mod pack and you want to get the same world. The seed is literally Kurt J. Mack. I looked up good beta 1.7.3 seeds online, and apparently the seed Kurt J. Mack, all one word, all lowercase, like the YouTuber who did the who's doing the Farlands or Bust series. This is really good seed, and this is it.
Opposite of what is aligned with that message, essentially. Now, while nobody who is speculating truly knows the answer, it does not do him any favors to lean in and call those that doubt him subprimal, or to make jokes about those who suspect he's on PEDs on a regular basis.
I'll tell you this, there's a lot of subprimals that are convinced that Liver King is taking steroids.
Steroids, primal or subprimal?
Subprimal.
Wait, why? I'll probably do TRT once my T level.
Subprimal. Okay, we're gonna start hearing that. We're gonna start hearing that in the next couple years. Remember when Sigma was a meme, but then it became serious, but then it became a meme again? Yeah.
Levels start.
I don't believe you. I think after we get to know each other and you get to know the 9 ancestral tenets and you get to understand, and this stuff is in the
I can't wait to see the primal male videos.
literature. If you want evidence-based literature instead of the bro science, Google this and use Google Scholar. You'll find this in the literature. 50 years ago, we had 50% higher testosterone. Today, people take steroids to increase their testosterone by 50%. So why not just do these ancestral tenets?
I mean, I got good T levels currently. I'm just saying.
You say they're good because that's the new normal, and that's the relative difference. But how much you want to bet you could double your testosterone naturally by doing these 9 ancestral tenets?
Well, you know, the reason why people bring up the steroid thing is because it's almost like it's like a discredit.
We hear this all the time.
It's
that
literally
hate
a
always comes from
sales
below,
pitch.
and hate always comes from within. Right? When people really hate their lives, because most people do, they go to jobs that they hate, they come home to lives they don't love, they sedate themselves with enough bullshit, right? And so they.
This is literally no different than Andrew Tate speak, by the way. Isn't it crazy how every single one of these grifting fucks always uses the same like general speech pattern? It's always like trying to like laser down on some disaffected, like usually young men out there and like feed them a solution to their problems. To be fair, he is jacked. Yeah. He's on steroids. Yeah, that tends to happen if you work out enough and you eat enough and you're on steroids. For the record, by the way, a lot of people are really stupid about these things, especially when it comes to performance-enhancing drugs. A lot of people just kind of mix up things such as growth hormones, synthol, testosterone injections, and like all of these things. Like they'll mix them up, right? Synthol is literally an oil that people will inject into their muscles. It's an actual oil, synthol oil, injected into their muscles in order to inflate them artificially. It's not so like steroids, like for example, testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, very common, oh God, holy fucking shit. Yeah, I'm getting out. I'm bailing. I'm Sarah Balin out of here. Oh, good, an alien shooting lasers at me. Oh, this is a very convenient situation I'm in. Oh boy, I love this. This is great. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, I'm glad I built this thing. This is gonna help a lot. Okay, I'm good. Is there no hunger? There is no hunger in this version. This is pre-1.0 release.
Hate themselves so much that they project that hate above them.
Now, he did have a successful and established business prior to blowing up on social media, but it is impossible to ignore his meteoric rise and the financial success he has experienced on the back of that.
Because if I'm going to create $100 million a year in revenue, and I'm doing it by doing good to the human condition versus a company that is selling Coke or type 2 diabetes
Listen,
or strip clubs.
I'm fully behind that.
So this is why value is not created equally. So I'm glad that hey, you support, hey, let's go make some money for we're doing good in the world, because there should be an exchange of value.
With new Liver King endorsed brands popping up seemingly every few months at this point, new more extravagant luxuries being prominently featured in his content, private jets, etc., and very, very transparent takes on yearly revenue metrics in his companies, there is clear monetary benefit to his social media presence growing in the way it has. However, the scrutiny he experiences grows even greater in parallel as he downplays it and portrays his burst onto the social media scene as like this noble act, only cares about his fellow man and, achieving highest quality of life, health, vitality, etc., and it is not fueled by financial incentive.
Liver King existed way before a year ago, right? I never wanted to go on social media. I never wanted to do a podcast. I never wanted to be like public. Liver King. I love my life. I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but before Liver King on social media, I was rich and anonymous. It's a pretty badass life to live. Go anywhere, do anything. No one's going to distract you. Now, if I get on the lake, on the boats are coming up. Hey, Liver King. But in terms of how my other businesses grow,
He's doing it for you. Okay. Anybody who's famous or wealthy or has like a large platform or position of power like this, who says he's doing it for you, is just trying to get you to suck his dick. He's saying exactly what you want to hear. He knows what you want to hear, and he's saying it. Genuinely, not because he has any genuine belief of this. He knows what you want to hear, and so he's saying it. It's not that hard. Believe it or not, as a large public figure with a huge platform, it isn't that hard to just lie about what you think or to just lie about what you do in order to make people like you. But believe it or not, that's always an option. And it's actually really easy for YouTubers. They do it all the time. YouTubers do it nonstop. It's actually super fucking easy for them to do. I know, crazy. This revelation, it's wild. Who could have guessed?
% a year over year. So what kind of impact have I had on these businesses is really marginal.
Where do you invest?
Where I invest is like, we're doing 100 of these companies. And you know why? Because people are hurting and they hate their lives.
Of course, there's investing shit.
Now, there's absolutely truth and positivity behind a lot of the information that Liver King puts out, in my opinion. A lot of stuff from a nutritional intake perspective, metabolic health perspective, relationship building. A lot of the stuff he talks about is stuff that I definitely believe is valuable, motivational, inspiring, and could improve
Isn't it funny how every single person, like, for example, Andrew Tate, or just, like, all these, like, grifter right-wing, like, manosphere types, like, they always say stuff that's like, oh, well, I agree with this and that, but, like, then they say this, and it's like, yeah, you don't need to give them credit for saying stuff you agree with. That's why they do this. They dilute what all the bad shit they do with stuff that's literally no one disagrees with, so that it's harder to criticize them. That's the whole point. You're falling for the ruse here. Of course, like, it's easy to just every once in a while say, oh yeah, by the way, having strong relationships with real people that you can connect to is really important. Go out and make friends. Yeah, no fucking shit. That's literally clean your room level advice. So they say that shit, and then they follow it up with, also follow my program and you'll look like me. I'm 100% natural. Also on PEDs. Yeah. Just go fuck yourself. It's like every Andrew Tate tier, dude, bro, manosphere type always does this. They like a third of the shit they say is reasonable and inarguable, and no one disagrees with it. So that people who call them out have to say, oh well, I agree with this and this, but it's really this stuff that I have a problem with. It's basically to do the opposite of poison the well. To cleanse the well, so to say.
Quality of life, health, vitality, etc. Like, I even eat an ounce of liver per day myself and have for years. However, him portraying the explosion of his polarizing brand as something he, never wanted to do, didn't intend to do for financial.
Liver is really good for you, but God, I don't know if I could do it, guys. Like, is there any way to prepare liver in a way that's, like, appetizing, texture, or taste-wise? I really feel like there's gotta be some way. Because people eat it, and they enjoy it. Like, Americans eat it and enjoy it. People who have, like, the same general palate that I would have, right? Just eat the blood.
Financial reasons at all is perceived to be deceitful by many.
So here's a liver king.
You're saying from his...
Yeah, so he's this nice guy. He peddles supplements. He lies. He's probably on the roids. He talks about masculinity by walking on the shirt off. That guy is an asshole.
I did not expect these two guys... I did not expect this guy on this podcast to just drop such an absolute flamin' hot true take. Especially with their background. Do you know what that image is in the background? I think that's an edit of Joe Rogan's face on John Wick's head from that one poster where it's John Wick with all the guns pointed at him. I need you guys to understand. There's a whole other, like, cult of personality on the tier of, like, Elon Musk's cult of personality that exists for Joe Rogan.
And fucking
Wait, he's an asshole because
he's just a fraud. He's just a phony. He's a fraud. Like, he's a clown. And, like, we all sit there and, like, in 2022, the day of social media and TikTok, we're all like, oh, the liver king. Let's put this asshole up on a pedestal.
So his main message is eating clean, living like the caveman did, right? I don't give a fuck if he's on steroids. I don't give a fuck.
But again, it's just like, it's the gimmick, dude. It's the fucking gimmick. Like, we live in a world with fucking gimmicks. Just be a normal motherfucker.
That's fair.
Put a shirt on.
It seems that the push behind the Liver King brand from inception was a very clearly outlined, premeditated, and shockingly calculated strategy.
Damn. Scathing.
Fitness charlatans and snake oil salesmen have come under the microscope with greater scrutiny over the past few years. We've seen many examples of this, and while not long ago, many of them essentially got away with murder and promoting absolute nonsense, misleading, disingenuous things, some stuff that is just a straight up rip-off entirely, or even potentially dangerous misinformation. I feel like we've all come a long way in educating ourselves about how to identify misleading marketing, disingenuous individuals, and avoiding them entirely. My friend, Zach Tellender, who helped bring this video to life actually too, has exposed a lot of this behavior over the years in the fitness industry on his channel, and before we get into the nitty-gritty, it feels fitting to have Zach give a preface about how all of this came to be.
A charlatan is, by definition, a person who makes elaborate, fraudulent, and often valuable claims to skill or knowledge. A fraud. I happen to like bits and pieces from many different definitions of a charlatan. A person who pretends to have expert knowledge or skill that he or she does not actually have. Or a malicious trickster, a fake person, especially one who deceives for personal profit. In the fitness industry and social media as a whole, charlatans run amok, and they're making more money and gaining more fame than ever before. But what's important to distinguish here is the separation between valuable influence and being a charlatan. So with regards to the definitions I had listed prior, we have three key components: knowledge, skill, and profit. Knowledge in terms of charlatanism would better be defined by sacred knowledge.
A goddamn
meaning knowledge that is unique to the charlatan themselves. This is what no one but the charlatan knows, and he or she is the savior for bringing it to you, the consumer. Now, you may be thinking, I learn things from fitness people, good fitness people, all the time. Are they charlatans? And the simple answer is no, because the bests of the industry tell you things that aren't sacred, new, and amazing. They deliver information with a level of nuance. They usually understand that there are most likely no absolutes. They bring anecdotes or their own personal experience on the matter to you with respect to science. They do all of this while consistently disclaiming that they don't have the answers to exactly what it is you should be doing. They guide you down the sturdy and trusted path while encouraging you to make your own way in this world. The charlatan cannot do this.
That is pretty much that is exactly what any good fitness content creator will do, by the way. You're not going to encounter a fitness content creator that's going to like follow through on some promise to like change your life with some secret, unknown, unlocked, discovered fucking meta strategy. Like, it is very much in the mind of the lazy like person who wants to have immediate gratification to try to find shortcuts to things that are traditionally seen as very hard to achieve. And that is essentially exactly what people like the Liver King prey on. People who really want to find a shortcut. Now, a shortcut can be steroids, but everybody knows about steroids, right? So like you can't take that shortcut, otherwise, people will figure it out, right? They want to be able to take shortcuts and no one knows they took a shortcut. They want to be able to take a shortcut that no one else knows about, and for it to be secret, and for everyone to be like, oh my god, how do you achieve that? And for them to be able to go, I don't know, because their secret, their secret method they discovered from their favorite YouTuber. There is no secret method. Bodybuilding and personal health, while not being a fully settled science, have been pretty well settled at this point, enough that we're not going to discover some secret workout technique that grows your muscles 5 times faster than the normal. We're not on the verge of discovering some shit like that, right? Anybody who promises that is lying to you.
This is because they are providing you with clear-cut, absolute answers. They don't want to empower you. They want to keep you passive and force you to consume. Now, there is nothing wrong with selling. There is, however, something wrong with using tactics with a distinct in-group and out-group mentality. The charlatan's ideas cannot exist with other ideas present. They must be on the attack of other ideas because they interfere with their delivering of this absolute sacred knowledge. For instance,
isn't it interesting how the right literally falls into all of these categories? Like conservative figures, always, like every conservative demagogue falls into every category that charlatan it falls at, like all these charlatan definitions.
Since Joel Seedman cannot concede to large ranges of motion because he's so bought into the 90-degree joint angles with endless claims about their superiority and the inferiority of anything else that he has to be the only correct one. Another example would be the GOTA guys. They cannot concede to possibly saying that typical compound movement training can serve any benefit at all, because it directly contradicts their convoluted idea of...
Bro, what are you doing to your fucking joints and your back? What the fuck? Yeah, so yeah, there are literally just fitness charlatans and fitness snake oil salesmen that make a career out of destroying people's joints. What? This is literally just the joint destroyer. There's nothing else that is being done here other than destroying joints. Like, you could argue this is like kind of a fucking calf raise, but he's bent over, seemingly putting all of the weight of the medicine ball, I'm guessing he's holding, into his back. His it's also twisted. He's twisting his back. What the fuck is he working out right now?
Reverse movement technology, whatever that means. Next, we have skill, and this is what empowers the charlatan and their followers. The skill is the determinable action that solidifies their position against the outgroup. We do this, they do that. We are good, they are bad. What we do is difficult to describe, but with our convoluted vocabulary and our distinctly individual practice, it will change us and solidify our position above the outgroup. Finally, and probably most importantly, we have profit and fame. This is the end goal for the charlatan. Using their sacred knowledge, convoluted language, and unique but transferable skill, they can now convert on those sweet, sweet algo gains. And again, there is nothing wrong with selling. It's just that selling off the backs of the previous listed tactics I'm talking about, that's what I'm really honing in on. Buy my program, book, equipment, or supplement that fits my absolute narrative and be a part of the in-group. I will grow this in-group while I remain the centerpiece. I will revel in the fame and the money. I am the
It is simultaneously the secret, unlocked, secret workout method that's been discovered, while at the same time is, you know, on one of the biggest YouTube channels for fitness online. You know, like, oh yeah, oh god, holy shit. Oh yeah, definitely still that makes sense. Yeah, totally a secret, like, underground workout method I've discovered. I switched audio things, so Minecraft is not giving me any sound, so I'm not hearing any of this shit coming up on me.
Liver King. Yes, the centerpiece of our video today is no different. He directly and obviously follows the charlatan playbook. He uses his sacred knowledge of the 9 ancestral tenets and his body as the main selling point. He uses terms like primals and subprimals to determine the in-group and out-group. Now, once the charlatan is questioned, it's important that they give way to their absolute statements. So most of the time, they don't give way at all, but when they're pushed by someone who might have a big influence, it's okay if they start to contradict what they're really all about. If they can appeal to the critical audience with what we'll call the undeniable argument fallacy, they can...
Wait, this is just exactly conservatives. Is he not just describing conservative propaganda right now? But when pushed back on by somebody with big enough of a platform, they'll concede on the really bad things and use the, well, you can't, what, the inarguable argument fallacy, the like something like when conservatives will like fall back on, well, actually, listen, I'm not saying anything other than if you look at the stats, I mean, white people are losing demographic majority in America, that's all. But then like you get them off of your debate and they're on their like channel talking about how we need to shut down immigration, yeah, and they go fully like they're back to their real beliefs once they're not in a room with somebody that can push back on them. Like literally, it's hilarious how well the definition of charlatan fits every conservative propagandist.
Can potentially mitigate any fallout from contradicting themselves. The Liver King can fall back on the fact that these 9 ancestral tenets, for the most part, aren't very sexy. Like, yeah, we should sleep more, we should eat better, we should have a lot of better habits, and a lot of which are part of the 9 ancestral tenets. But again, this is...
I like how half of the shit that this Liver King guy, this like Chad fucking alpha male supposed like snake oil salesman, all this supposedly unique advice is literally just the same shit that like everyone's mom tells them. Get enough sleep, eat well, like work out regularly, go outside, have a social, like everyone's parents tell them this, you know? Like, you know what demographic the Liver King is appealing to? Primarily? The same demographic Andrew Tate appealed to. The fucking parentless, mostly fatherless demographic of dudes that really, really apparently need a father figure, and so they find it in internet dude bros, I guess. It's very bizarre, but I mean, I guess a obvious and pretty predictable social outcome. But you can tell that a lot of the dudes that would be attracted by this content literally just are looking for like some kind of parental guidance. That's really all it is at the end of the day.
It's nothing new. This is nothing that's going to sell. What he has to hone in on is selling and using the charlatan playbook to do so.
And people are suffering today with depression, with anxiety, with autoimmune conditions, with infertility, right? They got low energy, they got low libidos, they got low ambition in life. What I'm proposing, my thesis is that there's a simple, elegant solution to living a goddamn kick-ass fucking life, right? So this is my job as the CEO of the Ancestral Lifestyle, to model, teach, and preach this message so that our people don't have to suffer, so that we can return to our highest and our most dominant form. So you say, what if you don't want to be like that? Well, 80% of people's lives fucking suck already.
So in this way, he appears to be the hero we all need. But if these are not very sexy ideas, then what will fuel the growth of his brand? Well, specifically for him, and following the charlatan playbook, eating a ridiculous amount of raw organs and flaunting his body that he staunchly defends as natural or only enhanced by his lifestyle and not any exogenous hormones. In my opinion, this is not heroic. Pacifying the audience with charades in order to get your message across, rather than just delivering it to them straight up, is not virtuous.
Joe Rogan made a pretty interesting statement on his show. Him and somebody else were talking about you, and I think the other guy was saying that you eat liver and that you do some of these ancestral tenets, and Joe Rogan said something to the effect of, I don't think he's doing any of that, he's got an ass full of steroids, that guy. Joe Rogan's also usually pretty high on the show. Like, what do you think of that comment?
First of all, I just want to say this is incredible. I think that
I like how these dudes who nonstop dick ride Joe Rogan, like, they're like, oh, by the way, he's always high on his show. Like, yeah, okay, I'm high right now. Being stoned does not affect your ability to reason out whether or not somebody is on steroids. Guys, I'm literally stoned as fuck right now. Like, I could if I was outside in the middle of the day right now, I'm high enough that like my vision would be blurry, okay? Joe Rogan's been smoking and getting high a lot longer than me, okay? Dude's not unable to form a comprehensible thought about somebody while he's stoned, okay? Promise you.
That I couldn't be more grateful that he's talking about me. Joe Rogan said, this guy. I mean, do you know that in and of itself? I go to run the Liver Queen again. This guy that I hold in the absolute highest regard, irrespective of the light he's painting me in. Look at how happy I am. You know, look at how many people that have never heard of me have now heard
Liver
of me.
King? Who? Right.
This is, you know, one of the greatest feelings. I also just do want to say, I think that him saying that is dangerous. You know, I want to set the record straight. I would love the opportunity to talk to him face to face, to really get deep into the 9 ancestral tenets. What I'll share back with you,
Of course.
I'm just going to head it, you know.
I like he's like, oh, I'd love an opportunity to talk to him face to face. Oh yeah, you'd love an opportunity to go on the biggest podcast in the entire world. Oh yeah, no way, man. That's so humble that you'd like to go on the biggest podcast in the entire world and have a platform and speak to the biggest podcast or the biggest platform in the entire world. One of the most listened to voices on the most listened to voice on earth. Yeah. So how humble and what a great defense of yourself that is. Yes, that does not literally contribute to the narrative that you are just a grifter looking for a platform, money, and you know, fame at all.
You know, face it head on. I don't touch this stuff. I've never done this stuff. I'm not going to do this stuff.
What stuff?
The ass full of steroids that he talks about.
You've never taken steroids?
Never taken steroids. I've never done PEDs other than prioritize execute and dominate in life.
Yeah, the Liver King thing drives me nuts because that guy's on steroids.
Well,
just shut the fuck up.
well, so
I know he's eating really healthy. It's clear he's eating all these animal foods, and you know he's eating organ meat, which is very rich in nutrients.
Joe
All that's
Rogan's
true, but
going
he's
sicko
dodging
mode.
the main bullet.
Well, it's too late for him now because he said no.
Yeah.
So if he is even on TRT, he should come out and just say it.
Well, look at him.
Because I mean,
just do you know?
Listen, Joe Rogan, when talking about people, Joe Rogan talking about hormones in regards to like scandals in the fitness industry, literal fucking wrinkly, massive fucking pulsating, huge brain, literally sitting on a throne made out of his own brain. Joe Rogan, when talking about hormones in regards to trans people, just an empty, hollow cavern where his brain once was. How sad.
How rare it is to have a physique like that and not be on steroids.
He doesn't worry about the fallout from two very reputable sources calling him an outright liar. Rather, he's thankful for more eyes on him. Now, he'll say this is because he's promoting his message, but for the charlatans, it's all about money and fame.
Brian Johnson is a 44-year-old serial
Indeed.
entrepreneur and the man behind the brand Liver King. He strives to change the lives of millions through the promotion of his 9 ancestral tenets. Regardless if it's slamming 50 fertilized raw eggs on social media to go viral or pulling a sled with kettlebells in hand in front of various famous locations in the world while he's traveling around the planet, or bringing blood and testicles onto a podcast that he's a guest on, having the host eat it with him on camera, Liver King has mastered the intertwinement of virality and the message he's trying to actually push, and he has adapted to being comfortable on camera wildly quickly. It is extremely
I would
impressive to see
simply
this
eat
guy
more eggs.
not break character, get in front of the camera, and put himself in wildly awkward situations and not flinch, not seem nervous, not seem awkward, and scream at the top of his lungs about Liver King type stuff. Over time, he has also become more and more outspoken about the brands he endorses as well. He is the owner of several businesses that sell dietary supplements aimed at those who want to get in shape, live with as much vitality and vigor as him, and his companies are essentially all centered around this ancestral living and the 9 core ancestral tenets.
As I take the raw glandulars, we freeze dry them, we put them in capsules, and we make it so easy they can't say no. We lower the barrier of entry, which is a big thing that you do, right?
Absolutely.
We've lowered it so low that it's accessible to everybody. And once you try it, almost everybody sees the value in it. And so the repeat customers are over 80%. And so
Listen, unless it's literally a vitamin supplement that's just really good, like literally just really good vitamins for like physical health if you're working out, just like general, just here's a vitamin supplement, you know? Like, not only is that something you can buy from the store or online for far cheaper, but like that not even that would achieve like the results that he's talking about, but like at least then you'd be buying something. I don't know what he's selling, what supplements he sells specifically, if any, but like, is it like actual real like vitamin supplements, creatine, protein powder, and like something real that actually works and is like proven to be beneficial to working out? Or does he just sell like subscriptions to bull organ delivery weekly or some shit? I don't know.
this is where we started, and I just started with liver, and then the anecdotes just poured in. And so then we expanded to all the organs: heart, pancreas, spleen, kidney, bone marrow, brain, thymus, you name it. And so there was such a demand. It's just a true demand creation model. And people said, more. And so...
So earlier I called Ollie London a skinwalker. I think this guy might actually be a skinwalker. This guy, like, actively craves the fucking organs. This is like... This is literal, like, cryptid behavior. Cryptid hours. Redacted SCP hours.
We've just taken off, not just with ancestral supplements, but now there's Heart and Soil, there's Medicine Man Plant Co., there's The Fittest, there's Strong Jaw, there's quite a bit of these supplement companies that we've launched into different categories, but it's all based on ancestral living.
On a typical day, we'll see him doing some sort of workout, posting some inspirational messages to encourage taking action, showing his meals on camera, endorsing an array of freeze-dried organ supplements, protein shakes, and meal replacement bars. While there's nothing inherently wrong with that whatsoever, endorsing dietary supplements, it's the way he uses the viral Liver King brand to promote it that is perceived by many to be unethical.
If you want to be a top king, if you want unlimited access to cars, money, and if you want to find your queen, then you have to fuel your efforts with ancestral supplements, liver, beef organs, and bone marrow with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because liver is king. And you already know with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, always going to have a whole feast protein shake.
In several interviews, Brian Johnson has stated that his overarching goal is to show everyone how much they can improve their lives by following in his footsteps, and that these supplements he sells are just a happenstance business that supports his message, essentially.
So basically, you see all these
happenstance business.
You want to try to solve them using the tenets that you have, and one way you can get people to obey the tenets is by your different businesses.
People are
such
fucking
as supplements, such as
stupid.
spreading.
If you ever wonder, like, can people really be stupid enough to fall for conservative propaganda, like, without, like, thinking about it for themselves? Like, are they really dumb enough to fall for somebody that's so obviously, like, lying to them? Yes. Yes, they are. People believed this guy wasn't on steroids. Yeah. Yeah, people online, if it is beneficial to them to believe a certain thing, will just believe it. That's how the internet works. You find a narrative online, some echo chamber, some like rabbit hole that like feeds into some preconceived notions you already have. It's like a convenient thing for you to believe, and you can just believe it if you choose to. Who can stop you? Right? It's your freedom to believe it. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. That's how the internet basically treats these issues right now. And it's kind of sad that just being wrong and dumb and being destructively wrong and dumb is just kind of accepted now.
The message through Liver King, which also is, I'm sure, a great marketer toward all these other businesses that you also have.
It's the rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Right. And that's basically the whole summary of the entire Liver King brand and motivation and goal.
I think so.
When he's asked how much his businesses have grown as a result of the Liver King brand growing exponentially, his reply is hardly at all.
I'm curious how your businesses were doing before Liver King,
Sure.
and then once Liver King, as far as like the social media presence,
Sure.
and then with Liver King growing, how that has affected all of your businesses.
You know what's wild? Hardly at all. Hardly at all.
You see, his company, this is exactly what Andrew Tate replied, by the way. Do you remember that? People asked Andrew Tate. So Andrew Tate claims he was wealthy before he became a content influencer. People have asked him the same question. He said, being a big, popular, famous person has not affected my businesses at all. I was already famous and successful before. My business ventures were already so successful that my online success, bringing more traffic to it, couldn't even try to create a proportional increase in traffic, you know? I was already getting so much business before. Yeah, literally Andrew Tate had the exact same answer to the exact same question. This guy's just Andrew Tate, but seemingly less misogynistic, I guess, at least publicly and front forward facing.
But in terms of how my other businesses grow, my other businesses grow 50% a year over year. So what kind of impact have I had on these businesses is really marginal.
While many may believe that, those who understand the impact extremely viral social media content can have on site traffic, conversion potential, etc., know how absolutely absurd of a statement this is. Like with hiked up supply chain costs, private jet trips around the world, private chefs, expanding staffing needs, a full-blown social media team that follows them around, simultaneous disproportionately quick expansion of.
You know, it's just the sad reality that all of us have to live in. The worst people in the world all have way more money and are all having way more fun right now than any of us. Like we're all like, I'm here fucking slaving away at a mouse and keyboard, playing Minecraft like a goddamn plebeian, in order to make ends meet, you know. And you've got these absolute scumfuck pieces of shit out there who like, not only that, but they spend their money on stupid shit. Imagine spending your money on a party like what you just saw there, when you could buy like a fleet of those mini Nemo 2 submarines that are literally just real life sea moths from Subnautica. Like, this guy has the money to buy like 8 of those minimum, and yet he's spending it like on that shit. Like, not only are these rich assholes like such bad people, and yet they have so much money and wealth at their tips, they don't even allow you to vicariously live through them by actually spending money on fun stuff. Instead of buying like an awesome giant fucking submarine, they buy a boring yacht. And then they like rape children on the yacht or whatever, instead of like spending that money to like, I don't know, hang out with like adult women that can consent, that would be like totally thrilled to go on a giant fucking submarine. Like, yeah, Rich people are boring, evil, and they tend to be pedophiles. They really don't deserve... Rich people don't deserve to be rich. It's so sad.
All of his existing brands that require more capital to continue to fuel their expansion, and the emergence of new brands popping up all the time under his wing that have startup costs as well associated with them, the corporate accounting fees associated with it, this, that. It is clear that the revenue to support all of this has significantly increased since he started his social media push. How fast it is...
Zan, are you going to use the submarine to get laid? I am going to fuck so many women inside the submarine, chat. Like, holy fucking shit. It's not even going to be funny. I like, holy crap. That is one of my, that is absolutely first week of having the submarine. First week of having the submarine, that's happening, okay? Sorry.
All happen is pretty fucking wild when you think about it, and there's no doubt in my mind that the valuation of his business portfolio cumulatively has disproportionately skyrocketed since he started posting in August 2021. While the 9 ancestral tenets are general and can be applicable to anyone, Liver King clearly targets men a bit more in his content.
Because if you have your cell phone next to your dick and balls, you're not shielding right. Do you think you're optimizing your testosterone?
I know I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. The ancestral man has a much more favorable hormone profile than the modern day manicured man.
Liver King claims he has never used steroids or any performance-enhancing drugs to achieve his physique, and this is ultimately what gets him the most scrutiny, but is also one of the reasons he's so viral. If he didn't throw it in people's faces...
Does my manicure, does he mean like haircuts and like bodily hygiene? I'm almost certain that by the modern, like, I'm pretty sure that's what he means. I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't wipe his ass. Does this guy mean wiping his ass makes you like subprimal? This guy totally thinks wiping your ass makes you subprimal, doesn't it? This guy does not wipe his ass. Lots of realizations are setting in now. There's no way in hell this guy wipes his ass if he believes what he says.
As much as he does, he probably wouldn't get the heat that he does, but he often pokes fun at those who speculate about it and can be generally condescending.
Liver King here. A bunch of primals keep asking if Liver King is natty or not. I decided to really face this head on and show you my stack. I stack liver and bone marrow every day. I stack the sun and the earth every day. I stack...
I like the idea that, like, oh, I'm going to debunk the claim that I'm on gear right now. Here's what I eat. Just sitting on the table. Okay. Sure. Like, yeah, eating and what you eat is a big deal when it comes to working out and how big you'll get, but, like, what it is calories in, calories out, and like, there are certainly foods that can increase testosterone, but, like, you're not going to see let me just say this. Any benefit you're going to get from any food that supposedly increases testosterone levels, if you don't enjoy eating it already, you're not going to get a big enough benefit from eating it to make forcing yourself to eat it for the benefits worth it.
Blood-burning workouts twice a day, every day. And if you stack the 9 ancestral tenets, you too can express your most dominant form. And by the way, this was my cameraman idea, so tip of the hat to him. I don't even know where to get this stuff. But I will tell you this is filled with maple syrup. There's nothing better than that. Liver King out. It is time to put the rumors...
I don't even know where to get this stuff.
And the doc is on his way to give me the results. Okay, Liver King, I got your blood results. Show him. Don't tell him, doc. Okay. We did find something unusual about your blood. Aha! I knew it! Primal! Primal!
Is Liver King natty? That's what he said.
Yeah.
I think he was like TikTok age.
God, it's so cringy to see somebody make jokes based on, like, that hinge on a lie. Jokes hinging on a lie are just the most cringy thing to have to sit through, right? Like, it's every conservative meme as well, because every conservative meme, assuming it's not just like some copy-paste bullshit, if it's actually something remotely original, right? Every conservative meme or joke is like a joke predicated on agreement of something that is incorrect. Agreement with something incorrect. So it's like just so cringy to watch, like just like yucking it up over just some completely incorrect, like dream luck. We're just rocking that dream luck right now. Let's fucking go. Let's go.
They say
yeah, well, first thing I'm now you're giving me a sidetrack, but I'll say this. Do you think if I was on steroids, I would have these fucking appendages down here, these legs?
Have
Do
legs?
you see how fucking little my fucking legs are? You know,
they're
pretty big? Okay, well, let me fucking go on here. Here's the thing. When I was in college, I weighed 175 pounds and I was single-digit body fat. I started working out about 8 or 9 years old. I had already been working out for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. So now I'm 45 and I've gained less than 1 pound a year
over 25 years, less than 1 pound a year. So this is what I say to people that make this accusation. If you don't believe this is possible, then I suggest that you take that self-limiting belief, you put that shit in a fucking box, and you bury that next to all your embarrassing shit, and don't open your fucking mouth about it.
What I love is how he redirects valid criticism into like some. It's like, oh man, you think that I'm doing a thing and that I'm lying? Oh, you must feel really bad. You must feel like, think of yourself so lowly, man. Oh, man, listen, you got to think of yourself, like turning it into some like smarmy pseudo compliment towards the people making the accusation. It's literally like a conservative who says to like a progressive, like a trans person that he's like shitting on, like, I'm only calling you a groomer and saying that you want to molest kids and telling my audience you're a danger to children because I want to help you. And like doing a DreamWorks smile at the camera, like it's almost on that tier, you know?
Let that live with you.
The doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, like this guy does not really have an off switch when it comes to leaning into this. It irritates a lot of people because he does not produce any evidence to the contrary, and he also doesn't get blood work apparently to track his health because he's so confident in his ancestral lifestyle that he believes it to be essentially unnecessary.
How convenient.
Are there actual hard medical downfalls or shortcomings to this diet? Higher cholesterol, are there things that you have to actively do to combat those?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is all rubbish.
Almost certainly,
right? Like
all
the idea of tracking cholesterol.
All of this stuff is fucking hilarious. You can make that face if you want.
Well, no.
Let me tell you what cholesterol
but that's
is.
because that kind of shits out the face of.
Sure, yeah, of course it does. But
let me tell you what
right?
blank is.
You buy that vegetables are healthy. You buy that you should be.
If somebody says, "Let me tell you what blank," and they're about to have like a hot take, they're full of shit and talking out of their ass. Okay, that's what my uncle says before he says something wrong that he made up. Let me tell you about blank. You know, and then it's something completely made up and wrong and pulled out of their ass. Like that's like always a good red flag.
Wearing a shirt, right? You buy that you should refer to yourself in the first person. I was gonna ask you this. You buy that cholesterol has something to do with heart. Let me finish this. Cholesterol is a proxy to something we don't fucking understand. If you want to know about heart disease, you need to know about your HSCRP, your inflammation. What does your insulin look like? What are your triglycerides? What the fuck is your blood pressure? More people die of heart attacks with normal goddamn fucking cholesterol, right? So this cracks me up when people are like, let me look at your cholesterol, right? It's how the fuck do you feel, right? If you got a fucking kicking ass libido and you're kicking ass in fucking life, you give a fuck what your cholesterol is? I don't do any blood testing. I don't know what my cholesterol is.
I might know what his cholesterol is.
This is the part of the video I know. Not because I've seen this video, I actually have not seen this video. I watched the PKA podcast, Painkiller Already, and they talked about this on PKA, the host did, the emails part. So, my understanding is, I'm going to prep you guys, the Liver King's emails leaked. Emails where let's just say he talks about taking steroids and performance-enhancing drugs, and him taking them a little bit differently than how he says it publicly. Who is this? It looks like you just joined Big Poobas. You're gonna have to rewind and like and learn the context, I'm afraid.
At the start of the video, I mentioned how there was some information that came across my desk that was shocking, to say the least. This set of redacted emails shows what appears to be Liver King corresponding with a bodybuilding coach. So I was shocked, but also kind of not shocked at the same time. Like I felt like it was just a matter of time before something like this came out in some capacity, but obviously, you know, it was still surprising to see the name on the piece of paper and just the detail that he went into in these emails. So let's get into it. And as far as I know, the redactions included like personal information that was irrelevant to PEDs and blood test results. It was just like payment information, phone numbers, personal information, etc. And we'll get into the blood work after. I just want to go through all the emails fully before we open the blood test results because it gives a lot of context that then makes sense of the blood work thereafter. So this is the first email, June 29th, 2021, which is notable that this is actually almost 2 months before he started posting as Liver King on social media. And yet he seemingly filled out this contact form identifying himself as Brian Johnson Liver King in brackets with an official email, liverking@ancestralsupplements.com. Like this is very much his brand domain that he is emailing through and his official email address, presumably from his company email address. So no attempt at trying to claim natural or anything, like very, very transparent in this email about what he needs to get out of this, what his goals are over the next year, and also identifying himself literally as like he was on a contact form, presumably of some website, to contact this guy, and wrote Brian Johnson, and in brackets, like literally identified himself as Liver King. So super interesting stuff, and really insightful as to what went into the strategy behind this whole brand from inception, because this is pre-social media push, keep in mind. So stoked, thank you. What's a good date and time for you to have our consultation? I live in the Republic of Texas, Houston. So I am CST, I believe that's 12 hours behind you. This is an absolute priority for me, so I will cancel almost anything planned to make this happen with you. My preferred times are 7 a.m., 8 a.m., or 9 a.m. on Wednesday CST, but you could easily do 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. almost any evening. And your time, I believe that's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., or 9 p.m. on Thursday, or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. almost any morning of the week. Please check my math on that. Since that's outside of your regular hours, I'm happy to compensate for the trouble. So let's dig right in. As it relates to my goals, I'm the face of several brands, including Ancestral Supplements, which is the handle he used here from his official company email. And I've just hired a team to build the Liver King brand with the goal of 1 million followers by March 2022. That's like wildly specific, and I believe he actually did it before that date, which is crazy because he had 0 followers in June of 2021. So
how many diamonds was that, chat? Like 13? I was right by lava too. Everything I had is gone forever. That was a full suit of diamond armor, diamond tools, 13 diamonds in my inventory, a shit ton of ore. That was pretty much everything I had, if I'm being honest. That was a very devastating death. I'm just gonna keep going.
Within less than a year, he knew he was gonna get 1 million followers all around this brand, with the intention of blowing it up from day one. I'm pouring ridiculous resources into making this happen, including hosting a video guy that will be living at my guest house and a film crew that will be filming 7 days a month. Stated I have to stay in great fucking shape year round, maybe take 1 to 2 months off per year. And when he says off per year, like he's very much implying hormone use. Here's a clip of where I'm at currently. So this is a link to an Instagram post. Ancestral Supplements, May 8th, 2021. The keys to living an optimal life. And Brian the Liver King.
Wait,
Johnson.
so he does
so
sell
he was
supplements.
identifying himself as Liver King for a while, but this is before his actual Liver King social media was created. And he looks pretty yoked here. Like, he looks sick still. Presumably, that is mainly what this coaching was really about, was to get as saucy as fucking hell, essentially, within reason of not killing yourself and pushing your brand in as viral of a way as possible. I've been working out for 35 years. I know how to train, eat, rest, and recover. I even have a hard shell hyperbaric chamber at my house. But as I've reached my mid-40s...
All right, really quick. I actually have to close the game and restart it because I died there. I had no sound, and the game didn't have sound because I switched audio devices, so I have to restart the game for it to take up my new audio device. I can't not have audio. I literally couldn't hear shit sneaking up on me, couldn't hear anything, so... I couldn't even hear the tss that it was coming. I could have at least backed up and maybe survived, but yeah, there we go. Okay.
It's getting harder and the back fat fucking kills me. To support these exhaustive efforts, I've recently started taking Omnitrope. So if you guys don't know Omnitrope, this is pharmacy-grade human growth hormone. The brand, it is created by the pharmaceutical company Sandoz, I believe it is. The 5.8 milligram vials from Empower Pharmacy, $11,000 per month for my new dose, which is 4 vials per week, 16 vials per month. So these 5.8 milligram vials, he's using 4 vials per week, 16 vials per month. What is that in international units? Most of you guys are probably more familiar with HGH dosages in international units. In general, for somatropin, recombinant HGH, 1 milligram equals 3 international units. So for each 5.8 milligram vial of Omnitrope, that has the equivalent of approximately 17.4 IU somatropin. So he mentioned 4 vials per week, 16 vials a month. I believe he mentioned in his email here, 16 vials a month. So that is going to be roughly 69.6 international units of recombinant human growth hormone per week, which is roughly 10 international units per day, which is like a fucking really, really high,
that's a
super
lot.
expensive dose.
That's a lot. But that makes sense. Like, if you look at him, like, you could tell that guy's on a lot of steroids. Like, he's not on that. He's not getting like a little boost. Like, he's not getting like a little hand. Like, oh, here, just have a little help. You know, that's not what's happening here. This guy is juiced. This guy is roided out. Okay, like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's not on like a normal dose. He's on an above average dose.
Dosage that. To be honest, I know bodybuilders who compete at the Open Mr. Olympia who use less pharma-grade GH than that. Like that's
absolutely.
That's how high the dose that actually is. So
yeah, that is a ridiculously high dose. I don't know like a shit ton about like this stuff, but I watch YouTubers who talk about it, and they talk about like how much they take, and I've seen what they look like and how much they work out, and it's like they don't take as much as him. Holy shit.
Says, I don't know if this shit is grossly underdosed or what, but I've been taking 2 vials per week, and my IGF is only at 139. See recent labs below. My doctor told me that I could double it in an effort to get to the upper 200s, low 300s. She thinks I could be a hyper non-responder. I'm wondering if taking a fuckload of other peptides could be confounding the results and possibly interfering with the efficacy. For instance, here's what I'm currently taking.
God, he's just letting everything out. He's just letting everything be known. Oh my God. Oh, it's so shameless, dude.
taking. So here's a stack. IGF-1 LR3, presumably. Been taking this for a year. CJC with IMAP. Been taking this for a year. So here, I'm assuming he's talking about CJC 1295, drug affinity complex. Like there is a difference between, there's mod GRF 1-29, which is like a shorter acting. We'll get into it later as far as like what GHRPs are, GHRHs, etc. But this is like a peptide combination. CJC 1295 with DAC, I'm assuming he's talking about, with ipamorelin, I'm assuming, not IMAP. I'm sure he's just hastily writing this, hence why there's like missing shit. But CJC with IPAM is a very, very common combination. Been taking this for a year. Ibutamoren, also known as MK677, orally active GH secretagogue and ghrelin receptor agonist. Been taking this for 2 months.
Okay, so a lot of this stuff is going to be mega confusing to a lot of you in chat. Basically, understand that the vast majority of the stuff that he's listing here are performance-enhancing drugs. There's stuff that make it so your body is more responsive to working out, more responsive to gaining calories and putting on muscle mass and gaining weight. These are things. Oh, there was even some there that like make you hungrier. The ghrelin one, I'm pretty certain that's literally a supplement that just makes it so you're hungry more. Like it literally helps you have more of a powerful appetite that's harder to satiate, so you eat more. Because eating a lot is necessary to, even when you're taking steroids, and you're working out a lot, you have to eat a lot to gain the calories needed to create the mass, right? The law of thermodynamics, right? When you eat less calories, you lose weight because your body burns fat and burns other like muscle and whatnot, it burns stuff in order to keep itself going. That makes you lose weight. You eat a lot, you gain weight. If it's empty calories and you don't work out and you don't put it somewhere, it turns into fat generally. If you work out and it's, healthy calories and it's stuff you should be eating, then it's usually, as long as you work out and you've got like the other things you're going to gain muscle.
Omnitrope, human growth hormone, pharma grade, been taking this for 6 weeks. Testosterone cypionate, 0.6 cc per week, cruise dose. So that, presumably would be 120 milligrams per week if you do 0.6 times 1 with a 200 milligram per milliliter concentration. 120 milligrams per week of test sip is not that high. Deca, Angela Decanoate, 0.6 cc per week, been taking this for 3 weeks. So 3 weeks of 120 milligrams per week. Pharma grade, of course. Winstrol, 50 milligrams a day. Just started this, been taking this for 3 weeks, and this is all presumably pharma grade through the pharmacy mentioned and having a legitimate prescription. I know it to be the case that all of these are prescribable. Winstrol, which sounds fucking baffling, and does it actually have like a clinical application that makes sense? Very rarely, but presumably he has a script for it. I'm doubting he's using UGL Winstrol just randomly as his choice of compound. There are fewer compounds to choose from, like you're not gonna get Trenbolone through a fucking pharmacy, but Winstrol, one of the available orals that presumably he arrived on as the one to add in. So anyways, he is on all this stuff. My blood sugar every morning, it's around 74, and insulin are great because I'm metabolically fit as fuck. Or so I think. Some doctors think my insulin is too low, but I think it's because I'm very insulin sensitive because I work out like a fucking maniac. I train twice a day, 6 days a week, and walk 10 to 12 miles on my rest day. Can you help me dial in the PED and growth hormone protocol to maximize results? You will see that my healthy labs back on May 12th look pretty good, except IGF-1 and GH are always non-existent. My recent labs show some serious concerns, probably the Winstrol, but we're discontinuing that in 2 weeks anyways. SHBG, lipids, estradiol are all fucked, but aside from my joints, I feel pretty good. I'm 5'7", lean, 43 years old. Would like your coaching for the next 12 months and happy to pay in advance. Let's go. And a bunch of redactions, a bunch of personal information. And then his signature, Brian Johnson, Liver King, owner, Ancestral Supplements. We believe in the ways of our ancestors. We are descendants of the sole surviving species, blah, blah, blah. So look like pretty fucking legit. Seems like the man himself. So let's get into the next email and we'll wrap this up and then get into the blood work. All right, next email, July 18th, 2021. My new IGF-1 and GH results are in. Thank God I'm finally in the normal range. Having said that, I want to get my IGF-1 to 300. As a reminder, I've been taking 4 vials of Omnitrope, 5.8 milligrams per week. So 69.4 international units per week, whatever that was. So roughly 10 IU per day of pharma grade GH. Should I pay an extra $5,000 per month? That's $15,000 per month in total, or try one of your sources to get better shit. Now we can see here, IGF-1 using high sensitivity testing, 204 nanograms per milliliter, longitudinal data points here that show a trend upwards from May to mid-July. Keeping in mind the dosage he's using, his IGF-1 should be way higher. Like this is very, very odd to say the least, and is presumably, like this is why he's wondering, should he be trying different shit? Why is it so low? What's going on? Does he have a unique issue? What's going on, which we'll get into liver health later, downstream IGF-1 conversion, inflammatory states, his blood work, etc. And there's more data points too for the IGF-1, but this is where he's at from, he's been trying to get it up for a while with peptides to increase his endogenous levels. He used literal IGF-1 LR3 to try and stimulate receptor activity through that vector by bypassing the entire GH-IGF-1 axis itself, using exogenous GH and trying to just shove it.
A lot of this shit is absolutely incomprehensible to the average person, including me, frankly. I recognize maybe a third of the shit that he's saying right now. Basically, understand he's explaining this guy literally owns like a clinic to get like TRT and stuff like that. Like this guy knows what he's talking about. He look up FPS Russia physical transformation and look on Google Images. Yeah, FPS Russia went to this guy, this More Plates, More Dates guy we're looking at, to get his testosterone replacement therapy stuff and to get his like steroid stuff like figured out. This dude knows what he's talking about.
Put at the fucking liver to get as much conversion as possible using a higher dose than most bodybuilders I know can even afford, to be honest. Yeah, get into the next email. July 19th, 2021. Questionnaire. What up, coach? I hope your MRI went well. I bet it did. See my answers below in red. Front and back pictures of what you look like right now. 4 quarter turns and the 7 mandatory bodybuilding poses. If possible, this way we have a starting point and can decide where to improve and how you hold your body fat. Also send me pictures of the best shape and condition you've had in the past. 4 quarter turns and the 7 mandatory bodybuilding poses if you have them. That way we have a clear goal and see where we can improve on your previous shape. Liver King's response. I have no idea what these poses are. I'm sure that I could Google them, but it would take too much effort right now and I want to get this done within 30 minutes. I don't store body fat anywhere except the...
I'm sure I could Google the... Wait, he doesn't know the 9? Like, okay. So for those... I don't know what the 9, like, are, but, like, there's some pretty, like, go-to standard, like, bodybuilding, like, poses that specifically show off, like, certain parts of your body. Like, there's a certain pose you can take that really shows off your biceps, for example. Like, really makes all of your biceps pop. And it requires you to get into a certain position... at a certain like twisting angle and then flex, and that'll give you the best pump, like the best looking bicep flex. Like, and then there's like your abs, right? And there's like a certain twist and like turn maneuver you do, and then you flex, and that gives you like the best pop on your abs, right? Like I'm assuming like there are 9 poses, and each pose like shows off like a different major part of your like a different major muscle group.
Love handles / back fat. I need serious help with this. What is your daily
That's my
schedule? What time
guess.
do you wake up? How many meals until you work out? And how many after? Let me know which hours of the day you're occupied and what times you can eat and train. How do you structure your weekend? And what kind of thing do you like to do socially? Movies, eating out, bowling, walking in the park, etc. So this is pretty interesting. Wake up at 6 a.m., work out at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. I always train fasted. If I'm not going to my ranch, I don't leave my compound. I live on 15 acres on the lake and have everyone come to me. My ranch is 500 acres of paradise. I don't go out to eat. I don't go bowling. I don't go to the movies. This is my routine. 6 a.m., wake up, walk to the lake barefoot, Sundays, and have morning coffee. Review the books for my companies. 7 a.m., workout number 1. I follow West Side Conjugate and customize the program as needed. I take the first dose of Omnitrope right before this workout. 9 a.m., eat meal 1. 45-gram protein shake with cold mineral water. 60.
Hey chat, you want to see why I kill those goo goats and I get these donuts? Oh wait, that wasn't very good. Hold on. Better demonstration. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
50 grams dextrose, 100 grams whole Greek yogurt, 30 grams maple syrup, 4 farm fresh eggs, 5 grams creatine, 10 grams collagen, 30 grams almond butter, 20 grams ghee, 5 grams red bean salt, 2 ounces of red meat. So it's kind of interesting because I wonder, some of the stuff I've never seen him have, like 60 grams of dextrose powder, never seen that before. Him supplementing with creatine is really interesting, given how much red meat he eats. 10 grams of collagen powder.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, that's right. Like, this guy's diet is like 99.9% red meat. Why is this motherfucker taking creatine supplements? Like, so for those of you who don't know, creatine is mostly in red meat. So I took creatine when I was doing my workout stuff before the drama bullshit, and when you take creatine, you have to do a loading period. Like, you take 5 scoops of it, like in some water, or I mixed it into my protein shake, like 5 scoops of it on day 1, then 4 on day 4 or day 2, 3 on day 3, 2 on day 4, and then 1 scoop on day 5, and then from then on out, you just take a scoop a day. Of creatine, and you've like, I don't know if you need to do the creatine loading. Honestly, it seems like it might be bullshit meant to make you use more of it, like right away and make you buy more. But I don't know. Creatine fucks my stomach up really bad. I hear that people get really bad stomach issues from taking creatine, and I never had a single problem, which is weird because my stomach is like, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like prone to having stomach problems, but like, I'm certainly not immune to them, so I'm surprised. Like, I tried soy once, and I literally spent the rest of the day shitting. I'm not kidding. My body is too high T. I rejected the soy. No, I legitimately tried to drink soy. I drank soy for my 10K sub special on stream. Literally ended stream and spent like 2 hours afterwards, like on the toilet. It was that bad. By the way, what's up, Xander Corvus? It's different with everybody. Yeah, dude, I kept you around people. Oh no. That must have been horrible to learn. You're like, yes, creatine. I hear this shit's really useful, right? And you take it and you go to the gym and it's like been 15 minutes and you're running on the treadmill, or God forbid, you're doing the leg press. You're doing the leg press and you just, it just, a gas chamber. You turn the gym into a gas chamber. It's a gas chemical weapons factory. Oh God. Wild. What? Oh. I've never been able to get to that. Is that a chest? No, it's just a crafting table. I could have sworn there was a chest up there. I guess not. Well, he's spawning in some shit that's gonna fuck up my day if it touches me, so we're not gonna let it touch me. Actually, wait. Wait, hold on. Sorry, Mr. More plates, more dates. You're gonna have to wait a minute, my friend. Oh, wait, but there's water up there. Is this gonna work with the water? No, it wouldn't, would it? I was gonna try to use the goo donuts to blow it up.
Interesting stuff. 9:15 to 1 p.m. meetings and phone calls with the occasional nap from 12 to 1. 1:30 p.m. workout number 2. This is Olympic lifting, skills, and Metcon. I take the second dose of Omnitrope right before this workout. 2:30 p.m. eat meal 2. 45-gram protein shake with cold mineral water. 60 grams of dextrose again. 100 grams whole Greek yogurt. 60 grams maple syrup. 4 farm fresh eggs. 5 grams creatine. 10 grams collagen. 30 grams almond butter. 20 grams ghee. 5 grams red bean salt. 2 to 4 ounces of raw liver. 30 grams of raw bone marrow. 3 to 4:30 meetings and phone calls. 4:30 eat meal number 3. 12 ounces of full fat red meat. For example, ribeye, ground wagyu, or short ribs, and 100 to 200 grams.
I thought he was
going to
say wagyu.
5:30 to 6:30 phone calls, emails, meetings. 6:30 to 7 walking with wife. 7 to 7:30 emails. 7:30 to 8:30 spend time with the boys. Usually go to the theater room to watch a Marvel movie or play games. 8:30 p.m. I take a third dose of Omnitrope. Wait 30, and by the way, like each dose he's taking essentially is 3.33 international units presumably per shot. Wait 30 minutes after the Omnitrope. Have a 30-gram protein shake and 2 ounces of red meat and get ready for bed at 9 p.m. bedtime. How many hours of sleep do you get every day? My sleep is not great. I go to sleep no problem, but wake up a lot from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. This is why I stay in bed 9 to 10 hours a night so that I can usually get around 8 hours of legit sleep. So this is really interesting to me because the guy, you know, preaches sleep hygiene, dialed in sleep, and you would think is like the, you know, representation of pinnacle of lifestyle, behavioral, etc. modifications to have this perfectly dialed in. But yet he is waking up a lot, 2 to 6 a.m., having issues sleeping. He stays in bed 10 hours a night to get 8 hours of legit sleep.
Who would have
And we'll
thought
get into his blood work later
the
why I
method
think that to be partly the
doesn't
case.
just
Who
solve
knows
all
if
your
it's from lying on a
problems?
fucking wooden floor or whatever. But anyways, current body weight and body fat percentage. If you can do a test like the in-body machine, otherwise we can always go by pictures. 200 pounds, I guess my body fat is around 10%. Do you feel you had stubborn fat areas that didn't go away? If so, what areas? Yes, all caps. Back fat, love handles, nowhere else. Do you start to hold water during the day after a few meals with carbs and or about 1 hour after training, look leaner in the morning, leaner but puffy face, or look pretty flat in the morning and look better after a few meals? I pretty much look the same. Which diet or...
There's a certain point, like, are you guys starting to see what I mean now by, like, these dudes aren't happy? Like, a lot of these dudes that do, like, the insane levels of fitness stuff are legitimately not happy with themselves at, like, a core level. Like, they keep on throwing more money and more drugs at their bodies to try to make them, you know, more physically strong, thinking that'll solve their whatever's making them unhappy, but it just doesn't, right? Like, you're starting to really see that now. This guy's literally a fucking monster, corresponding with doctors on how he can get even bigger, because it's not good enough. It's not enough. It's not, he's not big enough. It's not enough. It won't ever be enough. It's just not enough. It looks like we're spending the night on this tree. That's pretty nice. This is really what OG Minecraft is all about. Not having a sprint button, so when nighttime comes and you're fucked, you climb a tree and place a torch, and this is how you spend the night.
Foods you're currently eating, which foods you don't like, and do you have any food allergies? What food do you feel you respond good to bodybuilding wise, and which do you find hard to digest that are usually used by bodybuilders? I fucking love my food. I pretty much eat keto carnivore unless I've just worked out. If I've earned the carbs, I will eat 100 or so right after a workout. My blood sugar is usually 70 to 84 every morning. If I need to lean out, I stop eating post-workout carbs for 4 to 6 weeks and I get shredded. I respond well to raw eggs, raw liver, raw meat, and dairy. I don't eat any vegetable oils. So you can at least give him kudos that he's like reasonably following the shit that he preaches. He has some interesting additions that he does not really discuss.
To be clear, by the way, he's literally like in the top 0.001% of dudes. It's not enough. He's a fucking hulking monster, shredded as fuck. Not enough. He stores a little bit of water midway through the day when he eats too many carbs, and that adds a little perceptible amount of flab, a little bit of bloat, and that's too much. That ruins the perfection he's trying to achieve, and that's too much. They literally can't be happy with what they have. It's not healthy. It's not healthy, no.
But other than that, like, it's pretty, you know, he definitely believes in what he's preaching, with exception of the hormone part, which is a pretty fucking massive beast. But anyways, did you ever do a food allergy test? If so, what are you allergic to and which foods do you avoid? Not applicable. Do you feel you respond better to carbs or fats? What kind of diet did you follow in the past? And have you done any carb cycling or keto? My energy is better with fat and my cognition is better with fat. I add carbs post-workout for the muscle fullness. I do carb cycling and keto as needed. Filming, vacation, etc. What kind of foods do you like to eat that isn't bodybuilding related? Pizza, Thai, sushi, ice cream, etc. None. Even when I eat sushi, I have a sushi chef come over to make it to my specification. If I ever have ice cream, my wife makes a colostrum ice cream made out of first milk colostrum, egg yolks, vanilla extract, and a little maple syrup. You should come over and fuck that shit up with me. How is your mood as you go deeper into the diet?
That does actually sound kind of good. That does actually sound kind of good. But regardless, though, this doesn't change the fact that the Liver King is a grifting, lying snake oil salesman.
With with your jobs and deal with friends, family, or it becomes increasingly difficult to manage obligations outside of your bodybuilding goals. I can do anything. I am unequivocally strong in mind, heart, and spirit. How much water are you drinking per day, and what other beverages do you consume? I only drink coffee and natural Mountain Valley spring water in glass containers. Which supplements are you currently using? Brands, dosages, etc. What have you tried in the past that worked and didn't work? Are you using any of these supplements to cover a deficiency, like vitamin D3, for example? Ancestral supplements, thyroid. Ancestral supplements, heart. Ancestral supplements, beef organs.
Yeah, dude, I'm over trying to be shredded. I want buff dad bod. Like, a lot of people who aren't super into fitness stuff won't know this, but like, fuck, can I find like an image of bodybuilder winner on stage? Like, let's see some bodybuilder championship winner on stage, like right as he's winning, like right. I like how they edited like, oh wait, I legitimately thought that somebody had edited like another muscular guy coming out of his like leg. Like they were doing a his muscles have muscles meme. I legitimately thought that was so. To be clear, by the way, this guy wants to die right now. This guy is actually containing, like this guy is struggling to stand and he wants to die. He has not drank water in at least 12 hours. Like, this guy has not drank a sip of water in at least 12 hours, probably more than 24. This guy is, like, struggling not to vomit and pass out on the ground, okay? To have this level of shreddedness going on, to reach a body fat percentage this low, requires you to starve yourself, no water, because water, even a small amount of water, adds water weight to you that is visible. You are literally trying to cut you're trying to piss and sweat out every last bit of water weight you have in your body, which means no drinking, no eating for days before this. And of course, you can imagine the cut this guy was on for months before this, possibly years before this was insane even. You know, who knows what this guy's cycle looks like, but I mean, considering the fact he looks like this, it's probably fucking crazy. They just eat fucking everything to be strong as fuck. This guy probably spends like 6 months. I would guess this guy's on a 6 month cycle, right? Like this guy, actually no, it'd be like an 8 to 4, right? This guy probably spent 8 months of the year, like bulking, right? Eating just nonstop, literally eating to the point where every waking hour of the day, he is about to vomit. Every waking hour of the day, he feels like he's gonna throw up. Just stuffed with broccoli, boiled chicken, rice, beef, and like egg, mostly. Just stuffed to the brim with it, about to vomit nonstop. So 8 months of that, and then the cutting starts for like, I'd probably guess 4 months. And when you're bulking and you're eating a lot, you gain a lot of muscle, but you also gain a fair amount of fat. Now it's time to burn that fat away and reveal everything you built that's now like underneath it, right? And so the cut starts. 4 months of barely eating, literally eating under maintenance calories, if I understand correctly, for guys like this, and just starving yourself nonstop and barely drinking anything and working out nonstop just to shred off as much fat as possible for all, like as much as possible until like a big event like this. It ain't healthy.
Ancestral supplements, bone marrow, and tallow. N-acetylcysteine, 2 grams per day. Tudcut, 1 gram. Creatine, 10 grams per day. Protein powder. So these are going to be for liver preventative health from a liver perspective, trying to protect his liver, avoid significant stress from, the Winstrol he's using, for example, etc. Support glutathione synthesis through the NAC, blah, blah, blah. Are you currently taking any medications? Which ones and for what purposes? CYP, as in testosterone cypionate, DECA, nandrolone decanoate, omnitrope, growth hormone, MK677, and then all the other shit that he mentioned in the last email. Are you currently smoking, drinking, or taking any rec drugs? No, I have drinks maybe 1 to 2 days out of the month. Your training style now. Do you follow any program at the moment? How long do you train? How many exercises and sets per body part? If you have any videos of yourself training, that would help tremendously. That way I can see your form, see how you push yourself, etc. If the files are too big, you can upload them to Instagram or YouTube and set them to unlisted and send me the links. I follow Westside Conjugate CrossFit, 90 minutes in the morning, 60 minutes in the afternoon. I push myself to the absolute limit 100%. I usually do 4 to 5 exercises per body part with 4 to 6 sets per exercise. Do you have more energy at the beginning of the workout or strong all the way through? Fuck no. I'm dead at the end. Fucking dead. Sometimes I even have to nap from 12 to 1 p.m. Are you currently doing any cardio? If so, what kind and how long per day? Yes, always doing cardio. CrossFit, Metcons, 4 to 5 days per week. Do you have any injuries at the moment? Old injuries that have healed, broken bones, tendon issues, torn muscles, etc. Doing okay here. Do you have any experience ordering supplements online from websites like Amazon.com, iHerb?
Bro, getting an injury while working out is possibly like the disappointment you feel when you realize you might the disappointment and the feeling of dread that you feel when you think you might have an injury. I have like really bad joints and tendons, and my left arm and my right arm, both arms, when I would do curls, I would get this popping, like in the tendons while doing curls, and it was painful, like marginally painful in a way that was obviously not supposed to be happening. Like, this is wrong. And no matter how much of a break I would take, like 3 days, 4 days, a week off of working out arms, it wouldn't go away. And eventually did, but like, fuck, that was scary. I was like, and when you can't work out one part of your body, it's so tempting just to give up, but you can't. If you hurt your arm and now you can't work out your arm, work out the rest of your body. As you normally would, and just let your arm rest. Do not give in to the temptation to just doomer and give up on working out entirely. It's so tempting, and it's a trap. Don't fall for it. And try not to get hurt.
Bodybuilding.com. Who doesn't? Let me know what's next. Oh yeah, I take Wednesday and Sunday off. On those days, I do hard shell HBOT in my house. 10 minutes cold plunge at house. Massage at house. Walk 6 to 9 miles and do Tabata push-ups, or else I don't feel right in the head. Let's go! Exclamation mark. Lastly, let me know what you think about my Omnitrope questions this yesterday too.
Yeah, of course, I've got a Discord server. It's linked in the description of all my stuff.
Yes, I'll send pictures and video files as soon as my creative director shares them with me. And that is the end of that email. Then moving on to the August 16th email, GH and IGF-1. Check this out. I did Omnitrope 1 hour before the blood test on August 4th. I did Norditropin 1 hour before the blood test on August 11th. IGF-1 is slowly rising too. I'd love to get my IGF-1 to 300. Quick interjection for a note on the blood work analysis. I ended up doing it, and it ended up being over an hour in length. I wanted it to be a succinct, concise, cursory overview of all of the blood test metrics, but he has a decent amount of blood work, and to do it the justice it deserves from an analysis context, it ended up being pretty long. So instead of derailing this video, I'm going to make that blood work analysis a totally separate video for you guys who want to dig into that and see how his health metrics were affected.
That is stuff you guys
HRT
wouldn't be able to understand anyway.
The introduction, the GH use, the cranking of the GH, and the subsequent, introduction of synthetic anabolic steroids and whatnot. That is all very clearly elucidated in the blood work, and you get my insight on it. In this video, we are going to get back to the meat and potatoes and a twist in the story that I was not expecting personally. The other day, I was filtering through my emails to find the forwarded emails, the blood test results, do my interpretation of it, and I came across an unread email from May 2021. It was from the same address. So I'm on my Gmail. Emails get buried quick, so I'm filtering. Go at ancestralsupplements.com. It filters any emails from ancestralsupplements.com. And there's another one that pops up like underneath, older, significantly older than this one, unread. I'm like, huh. Open it up. So for me, I used to provide consults on my website. I stopped taking clients a couple of years ago, but those requests would still pile up, I guess, until I had removed the consult thing from my site. I don't even remember if I had removed it by then or not, but it might have still been like a link on my site to request a consult, or maybe they found it through Googling, because I think the URL domain or whatever, the site, the actual page where you would submit a request probably still exists. It's just not actually on the website anymore.
Oh,
but anyways,
thank you,
apparently
Xander.
sitting in the depths of my email inbox was an unread message from the man himself requesting bodybuilding coaching as well. May 2nd, 2021, from Brian Johnson. Contact form at moreplay28.com. Reply to Liver King at ancestralsupplements.com. To admin at moreplay28.com, my company email that I was using. Brian Johnson, Liver King at ancestralsupplements.com. I need to get shredded, have more energy, and get my brain working better, but I overtrain. Approximately 12 to 14 workouts a week and can't stop. I played around with peptides and would like to explore real GH like Omnitrope and others. I sleep well, eat well. I even have a hard shell hyperbaric oxygen therapy, presumably, cold plunge, sauna, etc. at my house.
Okay, so for those of you guys that don't know what that means, this guy literally puts himself into a hyperbaric chamber and like it fills it with pure oxygen to like sleep in. This guy literally locks himself in like a fucking Palpatine preservation chamber when he sleeps to increase oxygen content of where he's sleeping. Those pork chops look like shit. Why are people all of a sudden dissing old Minecraft? What are these fucking Zoomers that play fucking that started playing in the fucking Nether update, being like, oh, old Minecraft doesn't have as many blocks. Oh, I like new mojang. Oh, the glow squid. Ooh, LA. Oh, I love Dream. I love Dream. I love Dream. Oh, I love Dream. Like, oh god, I fucking hate you Minecraft Zoomers. Jesus Christ. I'm a Minecraft boomer through and through.
I need next level, which is why I'm reaching out. Can you reassure me that all information discussed, wish confidential, presumably will be held confidential? Fucking love your work. Pretty flattering, to be honest. May 2nd. So this is before, like, the other emails we just went through. Even the first blood test result was May 12th, I believe. So this is before all of that. So this whole time, even when I'm making videos about the guy and, like, talking to, like, the natty or not stuff, this is sitting there, unread in my Gmail. This whole fucking time, dude. Absolutely wild. Now, again, this isn't it. There was another email from somebody on his team this time, interestingly enough.
I'm old banning out, yeah.
has redactions on it to keep the personal information private. Because again, this is just some guy in his company. Don't necessarily want to just put out there, hey, this fucking guy sent this. So this guy presumably is a high up guy in the company. He has an ancestral supplements extension email, and the fact that he even knows this stuff, like obviously he must be pretty high up in there. Because I assume this isn't something that Liver King like puts out there to the masses regularly. But who knows? Like maybe he was more open about it back then. Then he decided, at the last minute, you know what? I am just going to claim natural, and nobody's gonna find out. I don't fucking know. But anyways, more plates, more dates. HGH postage video idea / intros. The subject line from blank at ancestralsupplements.com. Hey bro, I reached out to you on Instagram. Realized I should.
Wait, he emailed fucking more plates, more dates once. Oh god, so these are like he's leaking emails, like leaking. This is like leaking DMs, but emails, which are like DMs but for boomers.
Probably hit you in a few places. I work with Brian Liver King Johnson, owner of Ancestral Supplements. So for context, by the way, I went and checked to see if there was a DM from this guy and put his alias, preface of his email and what he called himself into Instagram, see if I could find it, because it wasn't actually his name. It was just like, I don't even remember what it was, but it's been redacted. But anyways, I put it into Instagram, went to there was a DM from somebody who had the same handle, and it was unsent. So to me, that was pretty indicative that was probably the same guy. And like when you see a DM, it shows like a request, you want to accept or reject it, and it's just blank, that that somebody sent the DM and then unsent it, so it looks blank, but the request is still showing. To me, that was probably the same guy. He probably unsent the message after he saw that I didn't respond, or
Oh no. Oh, that's fucking rough, dude. He thought he got away with it. Oh. Oh. That's rough. You guys don't like this texture pack? Would you guys like me to go back to beta or alpha textures? I can do that for a bit. I like this resource pack a lot, but if you guys don't like it, then voila. Vanilla.
They decided they wanted to go the claiming natty route after and wanted to just like get rid of the, I don't know, the DMs. I don't really know. But anyways, I work with Brian Johnson, owner of Ancestral Supplements. We recently secured him an HGH prescription, and he's taking quadruple the dose with little benefit. It's omnitrope, somatropin. Brian has some questions and ideas about why you may not be responding to the HGH, and I think you could pull some good shit out of your conversation with him for content. I can hook y'all up over email. Liver King lives on his inbox, or however it works best for you. Skype video. Maybe an interesting change of scenery for him. LOL. If you want to get paid, name your price, bro. I think you'll agree after talking to Brian that the connection itself is priceless. Look us up, ancestralsupplements.com. Give me a call, shoot me a text, or email me and make this happen. Talk to you soon. So, yeah, very much trying to dissect.
He tried to rope him in.
The quadruple dose of pharma-grade GH is not working. Understandably so, because I would be definitely interested in that as well. To me, this sort of corroborated
he's
that the
taking
leaked
a lot.
emails were legit, because like to me, again, when I first saw those emails, it's just like random emails being forwarded to me. Could they have been manipulated? Is like the handle even legit? Like again, when I see the at ancestralsupplements.com handle, when I see the signature that's like blatantly his, when I see the contact form, like what is being put in there, the language being used, like the corroborating blood work, like I was pretty certain that it was legitimate to begin with, especially given the dates, the outline of exactly what it was going to do, the meticulous strategy around the social media, blah blah blah. But then getting this in my email as well with all the exact same corroborating information, like really backed up that in fact it was legit after all. So fucking wild to say the least. Well, I certainly don't agree with everything Liver King recommends regarding health, fitness.
Yeah, he's on a lot. He's on like a ridiculous amount of like growth hormone gear, like everything. He's like I believe him when he says that he was like, what did he say he was, like 175 pounds, like single digit body fat in high school, like. I don't know. I don't know if I believe him. Did I say, do I believe him? Yeah. Plus you get HGH belly. He has HGH belly. If you look at like more recent videos of him, you can see his bloated up stomach. You can see that he has abs and they're chiseled, but you can see his stomach bloating out a little bit. You can see the stomach, he's like the belly he's gotten from the human growth hormone. Yeah.
Lifestyle, there's a lot that I do agree with. I do truly believe that many people would benefit from incorporating some of the suggestions into their lives, some things more so than others. Like for example, I mentioned briefly earlier, eating an ounce of liver per day. I would generally recommend for most people looking to optimize their micronutrient intake. Like beef liver, I have like an ounce of beef liver every single day, regardless of how deep in a deficit I go. And if somebody truly didn't like the taste of liver, is taking a liver supplement a viable alternative? Absolutely, I think so. And I don't feel it's unethical at all to promote that in that context. But I would also tell you that sunning your balls is almost certainly not worth your time. Like there are certain things he says that I just don't agree with. In general, the message.
But did we watch the jelking video already on stream? God, I hope most of you in chat know what jelking is. I learned what that was like a month ago. So the Channel 5 guy did this interview with these jelking dudes. For those of you guys that don't know what jelking is like the practice of stretching your cock to make it bigger. And So the Channel 5 guy recently did a video. It sounds like the kind of thing that would like rupture some bullshit, like some some dick veins, you know, rupture them and make it turn like black and purple and then make you want to die, you know, like just like you probably shouldn't be tugging on your dick in ways that will like that are supposed to like fuck with it. Like why it doesn't sound like the kind of thing that I'd hear and be like, oh yes, this sounds safe, you know, but apparently people do this. So the Channel 5 guy went and interviewed these jelking dudes, and they were doing the cock and ball tanning thing. They were spreading the whole like you got to tan your cock and balls for the like physical health benefits. Listen, there's probably some physical health benefit you'd get from tanning your cock and balls, just like the physical health benefits you get from tanning any part of your body, right? Being out in the sun is healthy for you unless you overdo it. But like I don't think you're gonna get any unique like secret cock and ball hormone level ups by tanning it. Like they think that like yes, when exposed to the sun, your cock and balls actually start harvesting energy like some sort of a nexus, and next time you have sex with a girl, it'll be like you unleash all of the solar energy that you've powered up, that you charged up since last time, you know? Like you're charging up on solar energy and blasting fucking nuclear loads.
Regarding lifestyle changes that the Liver King is spreading to the masses is arguably a positive one.
What did I just come back into?
However,
a fantastic topic.
In a cloud of deception. It seems as if the Liver King has decided on behalf of the millions who follow him and the millions that will follow him in the future that it is better to not just keep them in the dark about his drug use, but to also lie about it when questioned. If he was natural with a less impressive physique, he would likely not be as viral as he is on social media. If he openly talked about his hormone use, it would likely make people question just how impactful the 9 ancestral tenets really are relative to the drugs he's taking, and he would convert less viewers into believers and paying customers. If he candidly talked about the unhealthy stress he subjects his body to in order to look a certain way to push his message, it would likely reflect poorly on him as a leader in the health and wellness space, and far fewer people would take him seriously. If he was totally transparent about the financial upside the explosion of the Liver King brand has had on his businesses, it would likely detract from the noble intentions he portrays his actions to be underpinned by. And that, ultimately, is the crux of the Liver King.
There you go. Fuck. So, I guess. Oh yeah, that's the end of the video. Hot damn. So for those of you guys that don't know, that is More Plates, More Dates. Pretty good YouTuber. I like his stuff a lot. I definitely think sometimes he can be a little bit like dude bro-y with some of his positions, particularly when he talks about like fat acceptance and stuff. But overall, if you're looking for like a pretty trustworthy like fitness content creator who isn't going to start like trying to sell you snake oil and lie to you about like some secret like method that he's discovered or something, like there's a lot of that shit, and he makes a lot of his videos about calling that out, right? Really, at the end of the day, if you want to watch a YouTuber that calls out like fitness misinfo, More Plates, More Dates isn't a bad content creator to go to, if I'm being honest. Yeah, if you masturbate after charging your dick underneath the full moon, you can start a fire. I don't know. Listen, it's all like just the most wild fucking pseudoscience shit these people spread in order to convince people that really desperately need, like capital, just absolutely need. They need a shortcut to achieving the physique that they assume will make them happy, and it will never. Like no amount of like better physique will make them happy. They keep trying, but like clearly, as you can tell by those emails, like they just need more growth hormone. They need more steroids. They need, like a lot of the dudes that are on this shit, just they're trying to fill a hole that like physical physique won't fill. Xan, vaginas are connected to the moon, not cocks. You got me there. I don't know about the moon, sun, cocks, or vaginas to argue with you, my friend. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider going and sending some support to More Plates, More Dates. And of course, if you want to see more from me and you want to support the channel, consider dropping a like, subscribing, ring the bell icon, and even commenting down below to support my videos, my streams, and even my VODs. And of course, if you want to see more from me online in general, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And of course, finally, if you've got some money and you want to support me financially and you don't know what else to do with it, you can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub to me on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or even through Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.